systems, accounting systems that are isolated, one at origin, one at destination, one in each office, don't provide the one version of the truth that's necessary to monitor what's going on. Problem in global trade that you don't have in a domestic system is that sometimes the revenue is at origin and sometimes at destination, and sometimes it's some third place. Sometimes the costs are at origin, sometimes the costs are at destination, sometimes it's split in between, and sometimes it's in a third place. Well, if that's 3 different systems, or even just 2, what I've seen people again and again say is, the reason it's not in here is it's over there. But they can't see over there. How do they know it's over there? They're just explaining why it's not over here. We were asked years ago by a company that was in a transition. The younger generation was forced to take over when the founder and father had passed away. It was really sad. And they were getting moving. They were trying to establish their control of what was going on. And about a year after they deployed us, they said, we're having real financial problems. We know we don't have the cash we need. We've already done a manual check of everything, and everybody says they've done their job. And yet it just doesn't make sense, and we're really in a problem of a risk point. Could you give us visibility, since we're on one system and we're running it both in at origin and at destination? Could you give us visibility of everything on each file in one currency? And we built the global margin report. And when we rolled it out for them, it looked like we'd rolled it out into a set of test data, because there were so many files with no revenue or no cost, or both. But it was the real data, it was the real shipments. And all of this, it's done over there. Turned out there are people on both sides of the water pointing in the other direction, and it hadn't been done at all. It took them literally under 10 days to go out to each of the people and get, these are the shipments, your job, this is to get this done. And it was clean. It was clean in an amazingly short period of time. So that sounds like something that, boy, 20 years ago. Well, I got another customer. We're looking at their process right now. And their accounting team is using old techniques, very much oriented towards that over there and this over here, and we're in charge, and you give us the stuff via email as an attachment, and you feed this, and then we tell you what, and then we send it back. Pretty manual. So we started running a global margin report that they haven't wanted to use. And we found that 40% of the shipments don't have invoices or costs on it. So this isn't something that just happened with one group. It's not something that happened 20 years ago, but not anymore in the industry. It's happening to this day, and it's only a few people that are, as they come up onto a central system, that have these control points. We had a third customer that adopted all of these rules, was doing it just right, and they came and they said, we got another problem, Bryn. We've got all of these accruals for costs that the invoice never showed up. Now, it's not that we put a bad accrual in or somebody did something wrong. It just turns out that about 35% of invoices from vendors never show up. The vendors forget to do it. And when you see that from a perspective of one central point looking out over a variety of vendors globally, it tells you that forgetting to invoice your customers is something that's happening chronically around the market. Now, this isn't something that it's something you need to avoid. And being on a central system And having something like a global margin report that shows you how you're doing in each file and holding that at your hip, that should be every manager's weapon, right at his hip. It's go-to. I can see exactly how we're doing every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year, because it's critical. It's critical to staying in business. And that's one of the big things that happens on a tool like ours.